In 3, 2, 1. It's me. It's you, Sigma. Hi. How the hell are you?
Hello.
I'm so excited today to have you on the podcast. We were just talking before. Holy hell, I'm so pumped to be here. I'm glad that I got you on finally. This is actually our first time ever hanging out and talking. We've talked in the past, but it's always been through like DMs or messages or whatever it's been, especially trying to get some stuff going on in Tarkov. How are you? I'm so excited.
I'm good. Thank you for having me here. I'm excited to like hang out and chat with you.
I know. I'm pumped. I'm truly pumped because I have so many questions for you. A lot of them are going to be based around Tarkov and around your streaming career. A lot of things that have led up to where you're at right now. And you know, I'm going to kick this off and go, how did you get into streaming? What made you get into streaming?
So I can actually blame my son for this.
Okay.
I was completely against video games. I was literally like that mom that was like, don't play video games. You're going to waste your time. Like, we've got a life to live here.
Really?
I was that person. Yeah, 100%.
That's so wild.
He actually wanted Splatoon for Christmas.
Okay.
And we didn't even have like the console or anything. And so we end up getting it for Christmas. We get it all set up, and he literally turned to me and said, okay, Mom, you play. And I was highly confused. I was like, I'm not gonna play this damn video game.
Right?
Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
And 6 months later, I was on a competitive Splatoon team.
That is insane. Like, do you realize if I were to turn to my mom at any point in my life and be like, hey Mom, you want to play this? She'd be like, no. What are you talking about? No, I'm not doing that. How cool? Well, first of all, that's awesome, by the way. How did that translate? From that day, how did that transition to competitive team?
So I started playing and I was having a really good time with it, but I didn't have like a lot of people to play with other than the people in my family. Right. And so I started looking outside and I realized, oh my gosh, there's like competitions and stuff that people do. And so I applied to be on a couple of teams and I got on. And to be honest, I was surrounded by, like a younger crowd, and
okay,
which is fine. I was still having a good time with it.
Yeah.
And then one day somebody sent me a clip from Twitch, and this is how ignorant I was. I didn't even realize that I was in like esports.
Okay.
So somebody sent me a clip of me on Twitch in one of our tournaments. I guess that was being broadcasted on Twitch, which now makes 100% sense to me. But back then, I didn't know. And I was like, this is so cool. And I showed my husband and I said, what the hell is Twitch? And he said, are you serious? And I was like, yeah. And so he told me about what Twitch was. And I was like, I want to do that. Like, I can hang out with people and play a game like that we all like. And we can BS. And oh my God, I was so excited. So my goal was to set out to have like 10 friends that I could hang out with, because I'm not going to lie, those PTA moms did not entertain the idea of me gaming. Yeah. So I wanted like a few friends that I could hang out and drink some beers with and play games with.
That's awesome, because truly, that's what I feel like. That's what everybody kind of wants. Everybody wants to hang out with their friends and play or do anything. But for me and you, obviously, playing video games has always been that thing that's there, right? And like that's something that we all shared, and I'm right there. I'm right there on board with you on, that is some of my best friends, like friends that will be, in my wedding one day. Like, those are the people that I grew up playing video games with, and that's the one shared love that we have, and that to me is awesome. Yeah. Now, when you said it was a much younger crowd in those days, how much younger are we talking?
So on my last team that I was on, it was 19 to like 26.
Okay. And now, did you travel with them? Like, did you do any traveling, or was it all over?
No, all of our stuff was just online. It wasn't like I had to leave or anything, and I wasn't on like some like crazy competitive paid team or anything. It was just there for the hell of it. And yeah. But like anything in my life, once I start doing something, like I don't want to use the word obsess.
You dive into it.
Yeah, like check this out.
What?
This is my sniper rifle. I was so involved that my husband actually got a 3D printed one for my birthday as a surprise.
Holy hell! Look
so
at this
it still
thing.
Sits right here next to my. Yeah, it's 4 feet long.
Holy hell! That's crazy. By the way, I don't even understand 3D printing, but that is rad. High key.
It is kind of, yeah.
That's
pretty
rad.
cool.
So how many so at this time you said, how old was your son whenever he was, and now I know you've got quite a few monsters running around, right?
Yeah, I got 4.
4 of them, correct? Yeah. Now how old was this son at this time?
So let's see, he had to have been 7 when that happened. Yeah, about 6 or 7 when that happened.
How crazy is that your 6 or 7-year-old went, here, will you play this too? And then that translated into basically right now.
Yeah, 100%. It's all because of him.
That is crazy to think about. That's absolutely crazy. Now, what were you doing for work before all of this started? Before, were you still working during like your competitive days, like that kind of thing? I would imagine, of course.
Yeah, I was still working. I actually have a really large background in event management. I've worked for some city entities, everything between event management for really big concerts down on the Las Vegas Strip, all the way to youth programs in the inner city. And that's pretty much what I did. And then I actually went to school and I got my master black belt. A lot of people are going to think it's karate. No, it's not karate.
Okay.
But I got my master black belt in something called Six Sigma. And that's where the name Sigma came from. So it works a lot with, on the very bottom level, is how to streamline a process.
Okay, cool. So basically get things going.
Yeah, so if say you're in manufacturing and you've got 7 stops to make one thing happen, you get in there and you figure out how can we streamline this, and there's a lot of data that goes into it and all kinds of really big brain stuff.
Right.
But on the side that I love was the team management and really kind of getting a lot of people together and figuring out where we can streamline things, how to make things easier. So that's where the name Sigma came from.
That's pretty rad, actually. Now, how long were you doing that for before?
Oh, it was literally like, I think I finished school and then probably 6 months. This started to take off. And I'm very lucky. My husband serves in the military. He's actually about to retire next week with his 20 years.
Let's go. Nice.
Yeah, so I had all kinds of wiggle room to do my own thing. And
nice.
And here we are. Yeah,
that's
because
awesome.
Of streaming, he can stay home now. He's retiring. He is 100%. He's rated at 100% disabled.
Okay.
But obviously there would still be income that would have to be made up. And that was always the agreement, was like, you know what, when you retire, I want you to hang out at home and do whatever the fuck you want to do. And I'll go to work. Right. But I didn't realize that work would end up being streaming.
Yeah. Well, now, I'm not going to say we're in a similar boat, but that's the same thing with me and Jess. I told her, hopefully this takes off to a point where, you don't have to do anything anymore. You just hang out, do things here at the house, and I'll take care of everything else. And with that comes a little bit of freedom, in a sense of, I want to move someplace extremely cold, and she hates the cold. But she told me that if I made all of this work and I could take care of everything, I could move us to Alaska, and I would have no problem with that, and continue streaming from Alaska.
Wow, Alaska!
I fell in love with it. I went there this past November, and there's nothing like it. It's crazy. There's absolutely nothing like it.
One of my friends lives up in Alaska, and I know everything I've ever been told is that it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
Crazy, like even just going out, like now whenever I see things, because we tried to spend as much time in nature as we could, we wanted to mix it, like the nature, and then also, a little check out like downtown life. But the stuff that we saw there does not compare to any, like, you see something beautiful now and you're like, yeah, that's nice. But like Alaska is another level. It's so crazy.
Wow. That's so awesome.
Crazy. Yeah. If you ever get the opportunity, you should definitely go. Definitely go.
All right.
So at what point in time did streaming for you, like, when did it click and you were like, hey, maybe I need to take this leap? Like, maybe it's time for me to quit doing what I'm doing right now and like really nosedive into this?
So I would say I started streaming in January 2018, and I was streaming Splatoon.
Yeah.
And then I screwed around with a couple other games, and Hotel came home one day and he said, "These guys at work are talking about a game called PUBG." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And I started checking that out, and I can go into that story later. So obviously that ended up pushing me over to Tarkov in about May of 18.
Okay.
And I would say come November, December, I was like, this is it. This is
Really?
what's happening. Yeah, I was like nose to the grindstone, 100% set schedule, like trying to be as active as I could. If I wasn't streaming, I was in somebody's stream in the sense of like hanging out in their chat and networking, because I think that's so important.
It is. It's such an underrated thing, and I even catch myself not doing enough of it, and I can see it affecting me in ways that, you know, that if I were just out there doing it, I could definitely see some improvements. But right now, like, even I have a tough time making it out there. So like a lot of people don't understand too, is when you have that 100% schedule like you're talking about, when you're really working at it, it's not just like it's work. It's work to go into, it's work to find time the late night, you know, at post stream when you're tired and you just want to go to bed, but you know, you want to pop into people's streams, you want to try and talk with people and kind of spread the same love that you're trying to put out there, right? I understand that it's so tough to do sometimes. So like, for you to be able to do that at that level is nuts, by the way.
It's been wild. A lot of people come to me and they're like, you know, Sigma, how do I start streaming? Like, what do I do to make my channel kick off? And of course, you know, there's a million things going on. This is like juggling, you know, 10,000 marbles, honestly.
You're 100%
However,
right.
If you focus on your consistency and your community, those will kick everything off. I could tell you to buy the best mic in the world and the best camera and have, you know, the best gameplay. But if you're not consistent and you don't, you know, give a shit about your community,
right?
Doesn't matter.
I think that's such an important thing that I don't feel like a lot of people get, especially now with how oversaturated things are. You know, on Twitch especially, you know, everybody that wants to start streaming just sees the big names, right? They just see the big name people who have been at it for a while, who are, you know, more like who have the, you know, every minute it's a new sub, new dono, new this, new that, chat's flying, you can't keep up with anything. And that to some people starting out is the norm. And so when they get into it and they realize, holy shit, that's not actually how that works.
Right.
They're like, dude, what am I doing wrong? Like, what do I need to do? Like, dude, I for 6 months talked to literally no one, literally myself. No, not one single dollar was donated to me. Not one single viewer came in, bro. I did nothing. No one. And it's crazy because a lot of people can't get over that, right? A lot of people can't take that. Can't take seeing that zero or seeing that one and knowing that one viewer is you with your stream pulled up. Like
100%. Like, that's how I got affiliate. I had it up on my phone. Hotel had it up on his phone. Yeah, I called my daughter. I said, "Can you lurk in my stream?" Like,
please. So, like, yes. I would literally, I would text my friends, "Hey man, I'm going live. Like, can you just like put me up? Like, I know you're gaming. I know you're chilling. Just like, dude, please just put me up. Like, please. Like, it got to that point. Like, dude, please just put me up." And so
I gotta make affiliate.
Yeah, I gotta get this happen. And that's the thing is it's crazy because, you know, people don't understand that. And what a lot of people also I feel like don't understand too is the importance of being genuine and being who you are on camera. Because, you know, it's weird because some people flip on that camera and they're a different person. And you're like, wait, why aren't you just who you are? Like I normally know you, but now the camera's on, you're like a totally different human. Like, what are we talking about? Like that to me is crazy, and it happens so often.
Yeah, we actually equate streaming. Hotel says this a lot. It's literally like going through the stages of school, right? So you have to decide what you want to do. If you want this to be a business, or you can be kind of like me, like I just wanted a few friends to hang out with, and then you figure out, oh shit, this could actually be something. Wow. But you go through your high school phase, you go through your college phase, and then you go through that phase where you get out of college and you go, wait a minute, you know, is this
oh, shit,
is this a game? Is this the community that I wanted to, you know, make? Is this, you know, and you finally start getting kind of your footing on it, on where you see yourself going for real.
Right. Yeah. That's the first time I've ever heard that analogy. And that's such a perfect analogy too. Like that is spot on to the T. Like, especially when you get into that area where that post-college life where you're like, oh shit, this is a real world. Like,
yep.
Oh shit, it's time to get things going, you know?
Yeah. I had somebody write me and they said, Sigma, you know, I had my alerts made, I had this made, and, you know, I just don't know what I'm doing wrong. You know, everything looked professional. And then I go and I look and he's streaming for an hour and a half to 2 hours randomly every once in a while. And I told him, like, dude, you got to be consistent. And he's like, well, you know, you told me that I should try to get my YouTube going too. And I made a video and I haven't even seen a jump in people coming to my stream. And I said, wait, you made a video? And he said, yeah.
Man. God.
And I didn't know. I don't know what some people think sometimes is like, no, you've got to, this is work.
It is. And that's the crazy thing too, is, you know, when I decided that this was something I was going to be doing, that this was something I wanted to do, I was working at Men's Warehouse selling suits, making basically gas money to go back and forth to work.
Right.
And, you know, I had gotten that your similar advice, right? At that time, you know, and I'm not knocking anybody that asks for advice, especially because things are so hard these days, with how many people are streaming. I 100% understand it, but, you know, where we're at now, the general advice is all pretty much going to be the same thing, right? It's all going to be stay consistent, build a community, and be who you are, right? And so when I decided that this was something that I wanted to do, I immediately set a schedule, and I took that schedule more serious than my actual job, like my actual 9 to 5. That dude, if I was late from work, if I was late coming home from work or whatever may happen, I was like I was more mad at myself for being late to my stream with no viewers than I would have been if I was going to work, like, whatever, it's work, like whatever. And so, yeah, that's such a crazy thing. And again, you talk about, you know, well, I made a YouTube video and I haven't seen any, you know, anything from that. What? One YouTube video? Dude, I've made hundreds of YouTube videos. They all suck. And still no one comes dude, this is such a different realm of just like, yeah, man, just press start streaming, dude. You'll be famous for sure in no time.
Right.
Like, you'll be famous in no time.
I kind of got I don't want to use the word I got looked, I guess, down upon is a way that I could say it. I kind of pissed a few people off because
oh boy,
in the Tarkov world, you know, I guess this would probably go for any game. I'm not privy to like knowing what it's like to be in other communities, but they say like, oh, you have streamer privilege, you know, so and so got banned and he was unbanned immediately because of who he knows and how famous he is.
Right.
And I kind of got a little bit peeved because I watched how hard these guys work. And I made a comment on Pest podcast or on our team podcast. And I think I kind of said it a little shitty and my message got lost in how shitty I said it.
Okay.
And so the message was basically like, you want to get streamer privilege? Super easy. All you got to do is stream for like 2 or 3 years, full time, by the way, full-time streaming, build an entire community, put thousands of dollars into your tech, you know, making sure you have the best quality, build relationships with the devs themselves. And by the way, I want you to make a whole bunch of YouTube videos that help your community out constantly.
Yeah.
And when you're down in your downtime, you know, when you're trying to go to sleep, reply to all your emails and try to build deals and all that stuff. And then you just that easy, boom, you get streamer privilege. Right. So, but it was
so
just
that
my
got
thing.
Lost, huh?
Right. So a few people got really like, oh my God, Sigma, on your high horse type thing. And I was like, fuck, you know, my message was lost. All I wanted people to understand was we don't just flip on a fucking camera and go,
no,
oh, look at that. I'm fucking rich. This is amazing.
What are we? No.
This is so much work, and I've watched these guys work 80 hours a week, 100 hours a week, worry about their community, like genuinely get worried about people in their community, and try to do everything they can to help people. And then somebody will turn around and be like, God, you fucking streamer privilege. And I'm like,
dude,
you know,
nothing infuriates me more, because I think everybody, especially people who have put a lot of effort and a lot of time into this, have seen some similar type of comments, whether it be on, you know, Twitter, any form of social media, YouTube, or even more prevalent in your chat, right? And I think, and I actually talked about this the other day. I think it's crazy, through a flurry of your community and a flurry of chat messages that are coming through, they could all be positive ones. They could all be things that, you know, bring you up. But we as streamers have the ability to pick out that one just shitty one, right?
Yeah.
One shitty
like
one.
Like a hawk.
Like, I don't know what it is. It's like you can just immediately tell through, there could be 200 messages and one little one, like, that just says, fuck you, you suck. And you'll see it immediately before anything else.
Right.
But I feel like people that have worked at their craft and really built a name for themselves, have all experienced something similar to that, where somebody maybe new to the community or new to first time watcher, first time listener, whatever it may be, pokes their head in real quick, just gets like a real quick glimpse and doesn't see the big picture, just sees that quick moment and is immediately like, you know what? Fuck this guy. You know what? Like, this guy didn't do anything. All he does is press start streaming and he's here, and it's got to be this easy. Like, and I hate that.
Yeah, this is, if you equate this to a job, which it is a job if you're taking it seriously.
It is.
There are people that are waiting for you. There are people that genuinely want to have a relationship with you, you know, and I'm not talking like relationship,
of course,
but you know what I mean? Like, you ask, I know, like, one of my viewers, her mom, her cancer went in remission yesterday. And I could not stop, like, thinking about it all day, like how excited I was for her, because we have those relationships. And so if you went to college, you busted your ass, you know, you finally got that job, you're at that company for 3 years, you finally got a promotion, you're just really fucking excited, and some, you know, intern walks in and goes, ew, you know, and you're like,
bitch, what? No, I 100% agree. It's crazy because, you know, I feel like not many people really understand that feeling of caring for members of your community and people that are in it. Like, you know, I'm in such a similar boat with that, where, you know, if somebody has a shitty day and or like, say something happens to, especially like mods of mine are like really good friends. They're people I Snapchat all day, like that kind of thing.
Mods are the shit.
Of course.
I love my mods.
Of course. And so, like, being able to, like, if something bad happens to not only just them, but really like the hardcore people of the community, and even the newer ones too, like the people who have just recently been popping in, but they're here every day type thing. Like, if those people have really shitty days, like really harsh things happen, or even really good things happen, that what they don't know is that shit doesn't end right when I press end stream, stop streaming.
No, not at all.
That goes to me through shower, workouts, like, damn, man, like, either damn, like, that sucks, or like, dude, that's awesome. Like, it's two sides of the coin, like, and a lot of people don't understand that.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I want to be their cheerleader, and I also want to be the pillow that they can, you know, scream at, and kind of like let it out. Like, come hang out with us.
Right.
Like, you had a shitty day, you know, so and so can relate, and we can cheer you on and remind you, like, don't worry, you had a shitty day, and Tarkov is gonna kick our ass too. Like, I don't know, you know.
Don't worry, hop on Tarkov. It'll make it even worse. Come through.
Right, come on, let's go.
That is such. It's such a weird thing, because, you know, if you describe this to people outside of Twitch and streaming and stuff like that, like, they don't understand that this is like, it's like your family, like a group of really close-knit friends, like, where if, again, like you said, if you had a really shitty day, come through, man. Like there are people that are here that have also probably had really shitty days and have guaranteed had a shitty day in the past and can relate and can talk you through it, give some advice, or just be like, hey man, like, especially with us, like with me, I've got like, it's like we're just a bunch of bros, like, hey man, quit being a bitch. Like, let's go. Come on, let's get to it.
Right.
And then it's immediately like, all right, man, let's go. Like, let's get to it.
Yeah, or we can completely ignore it because a lot of people come here to ignore that shit.
Right.
Let's ignore it. Let's get away from it. Let's go game.
100%. 100%. One thing that I did want to talk with you about too is, you talk about Tarkov, right? And you have very deep roots with Tarkov. Like I don't know. I'm just recently getting into Tarkov within the past couple, like 6 months or something like that. And you've been at this for a hot minute. Like, so you talked about earlier, you have a podcast. Well, you're on a podcast with the team. And tell me about that. Tell us, for those who have no idea who you are, no idea anything that's going on, tell me all about that.
Okay, so the team was actually it's Pestily, Ghost Freak, Veritas, Anton, Slush Puppy, and myself. And so they actually brought me on this year. It was just those 5 for a while. They've slowly grown from like 3 to 5 to now we're at 6. And I love those guys. Like, they have been my cheerleaders. They've given me advice when I've needed it. They've told me to stop being a bitch when they've needed to.
Right.
I'm an older woman. I'm not some girl that if you say, all right, knock your shit off, I'm gonna be like, okay, well now I'm breaking up and we're gonna go cry. We don't do that.
Right.
But I enjoy these guys, and every week Pest hosts the team podcast on his channel. And sometimes we take a week off here and there, but we just go over what's happening in the Tarkov community, what changes they have, if a wipe is coming up, what grievances are, might be happening, what we're super excited to see. And Nikita will come on and hang out with us, I would say often.
Right.
And that's really cool because now you have the head developer getting to hang out with the community, which to me I think is really, really awesome.
Right.
We do that weekly.
That's super underrated too. Like for the head developer to lend an ear into the core group of people who also broadcast to thousands of other very core players in that community, and to lend an ear, to lean in and just go, hey man, like, unfiltered, what's happening? Like, what do you like? What do you dislike? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, and English is a second language. Right. He's from Russia. Like, he is a goddamn riot, and he comes in here and that man genuinely cares about his community. I know we just got done talking about that, but that is somebody to look up to. He genuinely cares. He goes through Twitter, he goes through Reddit. And he constantly says sometimes somebody has a really good idea, but because they presented it in such a shitty way, I only read the first sentence or two and then I move on.
Right.
And then if you actually read the whole thing, there's a good idea in there, but in between they said, fuck you, Nikita. I hate you, Battle State. And you're like, no, I'm out.
Trust me, as someone who has experienced the rage of what Tarkov can bring, I can 1,000,000% understand why because it can't all, and nothing is these days, but it can't all be sunshine and dandelions walking through.
Oh, for sure.
I can't, and I know for a fact I have ripped Nikita many a times. There's plenty of clips out there, and I'm sure I am at the bottom of his Christmas card list. That is without a doubt. Back to talking about your podcast, and a few things that I wanted to bring up and talk about was, you said, so you're the only female on your podcast.
I am, yeah.
How has, in such a heavily male populated game, how has your experience been? Like, were you welcomed in with open arms? Was it like a grind? Like, was it like, were you written off? Because I I know for a fact that there's a lot of people out there that immediately might tune in and just be like, "Oh, what? No, she's a girl. What are we talking about? No, what is she doing?" Like, how was your experience both starting out to now? Like, what's happened in between those times?
So I honestly, I think that if you go into something with a preconceived thought of I'm going to be judged because I am female, or I am going to be judged because of whatever it is that you're putting on yourself,
right?
You can kind of put out that vibe. I set out to be a good teammate, and not to the team, but
right.
in Tarkov in general. That's what would freaking piss me off. So Tarkov is my first real FPS PC game, the whole 9 yards. I started out on a laptop,
right?
And I fell in love with it, but I never went into it thinking, oh man, I'm gonna get more attention because I'm a female, or are they gonna treat me different because I was a female? Because I didn't present myself that way, and I didn't put up with any shit.
Right.
When somebody would come into my chat and they would say something stupid, I would say something stupid back to them, but so adult that it would kind of make them like,
oh shit.
You know, explaining how to go get a real woman.
Right.
You know, like there's just little things that you can say.
I don't know that I want to be on the other end of that. Like,
no, I've been told that people are very scared of me with some of that stuff, which is fine. If it keeps some of the trolls away, then be scared.
Absolutely.
Because I will rip you a new asshole. Don't try me. Wrong chick. Wrong chick. It. And I'm not here to be a titty streamer either.
Right.
You know, like that's not my thing. Do I have boobs? Yep. You gonna see them? Nope.
Right.
So let's focus on the gameplay. But honestly, back to it. I just wanted to be a really good teammate on Tarkov. So I wanted to get my skills better. I wanted to be an asset to anybody that I was running with, and so I focused on that. And honestly, I didn't really pay attention to the haters, and the ones that chose to hang out with me had respect for me, or at least showed respect for me. You know, if they turned around and said she's an idiot in the background, I don't know. They never said it to my face.
And that's all that matters, right?
That's all that matters. Yeah. Treat me with respect, and we were fine. I would say that moving higher up in the viewer count, I have experienced it a little bit more. Of course, I've gotten some hate mail and some bullshit comments, and it is what it is. But there was this one freaking thing that stuck with me that irked the shit out of me. Is I killed a guy, and he was on a team of 3, and I was like, man, I know that name, and he was a streamer, and I went to his stream, and his teammate goes, oh shit, that's Sigma. Sigma just got me. And he said, who the fuck is Sigma, the streamer? And he said, who the fuck is Sigma? And I was like, what? And so his teammate goes, dude, she's wiped us like 3 times before. And I was running solo. Well, eventually one of the other teammates got me. So, you know, we move on. But he goes on to talk about, I'm not going to say what streamer, but a bigger guy streamer.
Okay.
About how great and wonderful this streamer is. Oh man, so-and-so is the shit. You know, I've killed him like 4 times. And I was like, hold on. The female who wiped your team 3 times in the past, you have no fucking clue who she is. Because I remember him saying like, oh, isn't that chick or something? And I was like, fuck.
Oh, man.
But the big time streamer that's like a total bro and a badass, you've killed him 4 times.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
So that was the only time that I ever truly like held on to and was like, damn, I wonder if he didn't give a shit because I was a girl.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
and
maybe.
That's such a big thing. You know, first of all, 2020 is a crazy place. Okay. And things have been crazy, especially on this platform for a long time, and that's why I wanted to have you on, and I wanted to talk with you a lot about this, because it is such a. I mean, when you look at the community of Tarkov, you don't see hardly any females. There's very, very few, and you're one of them, especially that's up on that list. Like that's well recognized. A lot of people know you not only from your gameplay, but from doing things like the podcast, and all that stuff combined puts you at the very top of the list. And so to be able to talk with you about it and hear, you know, the not so great things in the past is wild to me. I mean, I know it's not, again, nothing's ever going to be sunshine and
Right.
dandelions, right?
And it shouldn't be, goddammit. It
Yeah.
shouldn't be. Like, you build your character, you build your stream, you build everything in your life based on some of those valleys.
Right.
You know, you learn, and then you can have. That's what I always say to my kids: is listen, you can't have a mountain without a valley.
True. 100%.
Period. Right. So here we are. You go through the valleys. Go through the valleys.
Speaking of your kids, how is streaming and having kids, like how are things, like what are your routines having to, because again, you've got 4 kids, a husband, and a full-time streaming job with a podcast, all that stuff. What are your routines look like on a weekly basis?
So first off, I'm super sleep deprived. But
you need to fix that. You have to fix that. That's such a big thing.
It's something that I know will get better with hotel retiring, and I'll explain why. But one thing that I want to point out is a lot of people go, "Oh shit, dude, she's got 4 kids." My 2 oldest are 20 and 21.
Right.
So it's not like I'm running around babysitting them or anything.
Like 7-year-olds.
Right. Like, I mean, for hell, my oldest is married and about to finish college.
Right.
Like, so
yeah.
There's that. The other one just moved to North Carolina, by the way, last week.
Really?
I know you and I've talked about this before. So yeah, she took off.
Yeah.
She's doing good. Now, my 2 youngest, 9 and 11, they're actually homeschooled.
Okay.
So we live we will do what the fuck we want to do life.
Perfect. Love it.
The way my typical routine goes is I start my stream about 4 p.m. my time.
Right.
I stream until about midnight or 1 a.m. Then I finish and I do whatever I need to do, answer the emails, file away the clips, whatever it is that I got to do, check on the laundry, and then I go upstairs. Now, Hotel wakes up for work at 3 a.m. So I'll hang out, watch some streams, whatever. He wakes up, I bullshit with him. Maybe we have breakfast and hang out, and he leaves for work at 4, and then I go to sleep. So then I usually wake up around 10 to 11 when everybody else is waking up. So we all, me and the 2 littles get up about the same time. And then we start school and do whatever we want to do. And because honestly, here's the deal. Like a typical school day takes, in real school, it takes like 8 hours between the time you wake up and breakfast and go to school. And then you get home, your homework. Homeschool, we're like 3 hours and done.
Isn't that so insane? Because that can, without question, be done in public school. That can, without question, I don't understand. I never understood why for so long, especially when kids, like you're talking 9 and 11, the attention span of a 9 and 11-year-old is probably right at 3 hours.
Right, it is. So we get done what we need to get done. So every week we have to sit down with their teacher for at least an hour if they don't have other things. And they go over like, okay, this is where we're at. This is what we're doing. This is what we're going to stay focused on. And they're thriving. My son, he actually finished high school math last year.
What?
At 8 years old, because this is how homeschool started, is because his IQ was like off the charts and California doesn't offer what we needed. So we went to homeschool.
What?
Yeah.
Holy hell. So
it's crazy.
So your kid is about, like, are we talking like next Tesla? We're talking like, is he going to be the guy who's just, Elon Musk in us right now? Like, what are we prepping for?
He, at 2, he walked over and my oldest daughter said, "Mom, I need you to pay attention. When I tell you he's reading, he is reading." It was a week after he turned 2. And I was like, "What do you mean?" And he walked over with her. She opened up the dictionary and he was like, "But," and I was like,
holy hell.
Oh,
dude,
my gosh.
I just got like the chills. That kid's I'm surprised he hasn't cured COVID.
It was, honestly, it was a little startling because I thought, like, God forbid somebody just be smart, right? God forbid. We were like, oh, we got to test him. Is he autistic? Like, what's happening? Yeah. And no, they ended up going into like IQ tests and doing all this shit with him. And
holy hell.
He was writing out like 2-page math problems when he was 4, like just
holy shit, that's crazy.
This has been good for him. This is where he thrives.
Right.
And that attention span, like you said, like they don't really have that long of an attention span. Right. And my daughter, she's like, hey, I get to sleep in, I get all my schoolwork done, and we live on a cul-de-sac that's lined with kids, and the second they come home, everybody's outside playing.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Now,
there you go.
Do your kids share any love of video games like you, or?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, so actually my 11-year-old daughter and I play Tarkov together. She's a beast.
Really?
She's not afraid. Yeah, she is not afraid.
God, that's crazy. Yeah. She's way more tough than me. I get so scared playing Tarkov.
No, I look at her, I'm like, how in the heck? She's like, whatever. In fact, her and Hotel are going to start playing Hunt together because she was watching the drops for Hunt. And now I was like, I don't get it, but that's her thing.
I have a really good cool. I have a good friend of mine that streams that. Her name's Bear Kitty. She's I'm trying to get her on the podcast too. Talk about that a little bit. But yeah, that's awesome. That's so cool. So how has like you said, you know, your husband wakes up at 3, out the door by 4. How has over the years with progressing and streaming has anything changed with, you know, like what is y'all's routine? Because I know Jess and I, you know, Jess works, she works in the dental field, so she's up at 6, out the door by 6:30, back by 3, 4, which is right around the time where I'm getting ready and prepping to go live again. And we have like that 1 hour, maybe 2 hours to talk it all in. And even still, like sometimes I'm not there, sometimes she's not there because of the day or whatever it may be. How has y'all's relationship been affected or not affected at all?
So I would say it has been affected. There's been a negative and a positive. So on the positive side, as far as being team members goes, it's gotten better because that man like jumped in and was like, I'll make dinner, I'll get this done. Like, you know, the kids will be ready for bed. Like he's been on it, and that's been really cool that he allowed me to just dive off and let me, you know, go try to do this thing. And he cheered me on the whole time. And so that's been really cool. On the other side, it's been, damn, dude, we barely have time to high five each other some days, you know, like go get them, babe. And then that was the last thing that I saw. So yeah, so on one side it sucks, and on the other, it's been really cool to have somebody just full corner cheering you on, you know, helping me with all the tech stuff, because I honestly, my brain doesn't really care. I just want it to work. And he's like, I got you.
I am the same way. When I press the on button, everything better come on. That's the same. That is the same way how I am. But yeah, you know, that's one thing that I don't think a lot of people really understand when it comes to streaming, and especially streaming and having a significant other. There's such a positive in having someone in your corner, someone who really cares and is also just as invested as you are, and to be able to have that. But what a lot of people don't understand too is there's time that's sacrificed that, you know, you're not going to get back. Like that's stuff that, you know, when you go into this, like I told Jessica when we first started dating, I just started taking this seriously. I had just been like really on a schedule, all that kind of good stuff. And when what I told her was like, listen, this is what I want to do. This is a career path that I want to take. There's no safety net. There's nothing that's going to catch us. And when if I'm not live, if I'm not doing the things that I need to do, I'm not doing my job. Therefore, I'm not keeping the roof over our head. Right. And, you know, she fully understood that. But again, a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't get that, and they can't understand that, you know, like if like Jess and I, right before this podcast, I had the opportunity to just sit down, have lunch, watch TV, like just hang out, just real quick talk for 30 minutes. And that's shit that gets that's
important.
Those are the times that get really just held near and dear, because there's few and far between, you know, with her job, my job, and everything that's going on. So yeah, I mean, that's awesome to hear that you guys have that as well, because you know, that is something that goes very underrated.
And we had retirement to look forward to too, because it was also very much like okay, we know that the end goal here is that when you retire, we will get to hang out. And right now, I'm actually in a very slow time, I guess you would consider, because I stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. However, you know that I own Evasion.
Yeah.
And I started the Tarkov streamer battles.
Yeah.
So those kick off Thursday and Saturday, but for 8 weeks, we're going to be running Saturdays and Sundays as well.
Holy hell.
Once he's retired, things are going to be flying, but we've made it a point to, you know, make sure that we have a day or two every week where we can just sit down and maybe watch TV a little bit, hang out, and then I can come in and get all the other work. Because, you know, like, just because you stream 8 hours doesn't mean that that was all you did today.
No,
like,
and
that whole slew of stuff to take care of.
Again, that's a whole nother conversation that people don't get. Like, people, I mean, granted, there are people that do fully understand it, but you know, it is not just, oh, what'd you do today? Oh, well, I just streamed. Like, no, dude, like, I woke up, I had to get my adult shit together beforehand, so I have to deal with my real life, and then during my real life, I'm thinking about, okay, what needs to get done for stream, what needs to get done for this, what needs to get done for that, and then I need to, I just recently, I'm by no means am I saying I'm anything special, but I just recently attempted to start trying to take care of my body.
I am so proud of you.
God,
I have been following you.
And I appreciate
God, you're
that.
a beast.
I appreciate
you're a
that.
beast.
I appreciate that a lot.
I'm cheering you on from the background. I know you've never heard me, but I am so proud of you.
It does not go unnoticed. I'm very appreciative. But yeah, I've been trying to take care of my body because I've been such a piece of shit for so long. Like, I've just been like, all right, Monday through Sunday, all right, I'm streaming, let's drink, let's have some beers, let's party, whatever. And I noticed that it started to catch up with me. Like, you know, I just like randomly was getting in the shower one day and I looked at myself in the mirror, I was like, fuck, is that me? Fuck, like, dude, it's time to go. Anyways, but so trying to take care of a little bit of that, and then either before or after stream, and then doing whatever, like, then doing my actual job like that. It's not just, all right, man, I just rolled out of bed and just did nothing, like, just went live. It was a full day of shit that had to get done.
Right. Yep. It is.
It's crazy. One thing that I wanted to talk with you too about was, you know, you talk about your schedule, and I think everybody at some point goes through this, where you start to have to like consider your mental health, like when it comes to, you know, streaming every single day with no break, because again, there is that mindset of, if you're not here, you're not doing your job, or you're not improving, you're not growing, anything like that. Did you ever have that schedule that was every single day, no breaks? If the break happened, it was because of something that you couldn't foresee, or anything like that?
So I've taken 2 days off when my oldest daughter got married, where I did not jump onto Twitch or Discord or anything. So 2 days and 2.5 years to where I actually 100% disconnected. And I think I'm diagnosed with an anxiety disorder and OCD, which a lot of people will, if they know me, they'll be like, oh yeah,
I got big
sure.
time. Yeah.
Right. But where I tend to thrive is being busy, is finding something that I love. And so honestly, Twitch, streaming, all of this has helped my anxiety disorder. It has let me focus on something and grow something that I'm proud of and be surrounded by a lot of people. There's so many positive things that have come from it, but you have to recognize where it kind of starts to creep in. And you know, like, you've seen it, whether it was physically on your body or mentally, or the days where you're hanging out with Jess and you're like, damn, dude, I don't want to stop watching TV with you. You've got to listen to that. Yeah. You have got to. And I think too many times you'll see the streamer burnout happen. And I've questioned whether I was starting to have it or not. And I think you just sit back and you have to lean on other people. You have to.
100%.
I get very proud and I get way too much in my own way. And I'm like, no, I don't want to ask anybody for anything.
Same.
And I'll ask 30%. You know, like, okay, if you could just do blah, blah, blah. And they're like, okay. And my lack of communication has smacked me in the face plenty of times.
Same.
And it's something I'm always working on.
Yeah.
So I think keeping that line of communication open with the people that do want to truly help. People want to help. And I have a hard time getting that through my own head.
Lean
on them.
That is something that still to this day I still can't fully understand, is that there are people that genuinely care and they want to see you succeed, and they want to help. What can we do to help? What can I do to help? But I don't see it like that. I see it as I'm being annoying. Like
I don't want to inconvenience them.
Same. Like that's and you know, you talk about that where, you know, there are those moments where you're like, dude, I don't want to stop watching TV, but I need to. Like I need to be up here. And and for anybody that's out there watching or listening that is kind of in that same boat of like, you know, you've been 7 days a week, all day, every day. Because I used to do a 9 a.m. to 3 and then take a break and then go 6 to 1 a.m. 7 days a week. Dude, I was burned. That was like right when I went full time. I was burned by like week 3. I mean,
bet.
like
Holy
week 3,
shit.
I was dead. I like there was nothing else I could do anymore. And so slowly but surely we've started to work out a schedule that works for my life, and then also still keeps me in a mental state where I'm more and more excited to come back, you know, every time. Like, because you need that little break to keep the carrot in front of you a little bit, so to say, you know?
Yeah. I mean, talking about the carrot, I remember hitting goals, which this is going to sound crazy because I know when I started out, I was like, holy shit, when I get to 1,000 people that follow me, like, we have made it. Right. Like, that is nuts. Because I just, like I said before, I wanted, you know, 10 friends to come hang out. Right. They could rotate too. Yeah. I'd be fine with that. I just needed people to bullshit with. That's what I wanted. And then I was like, oh my God, we're going to hit 2,500. Like, what is that making it? Well, 5,000 surely is making it, right? Well, 10,000 is surely making it. When did you, and have you ever, this is my question for you, felt like you made it yet? Because your former self would have said you made it 15 times by now.
100%. But I used to look at my really good friend who actually got me started streaming. He gave me his computer. He gave it to me and bought himself a new one. I used to look at him. He was streaming on Twitch when it was Justin.tv. And he was playing like old school Halo with no audio, no mic, just gameplay. And, you know, he had at that time, I think it was like 1,600 views on his channel. And whenever I first started, I was like, dude, I will never hit 1,600 views. I was so so mind blown by that number. And just like you said, every goal you're like, oh shit, well I've had to have made it. I've got to make it. This is it. I did it. Yeah. And then those goals keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Yep. And so right now in the current state, there is nothing in my mind that's ever told me I've made it. It's always head down. Let's keep going. Like, we got to keep going. We got to keep pushing. Got to keep making things happen. Keep growing. Keep getting better every single day.
I think what happens is we put this expectation on this number. Like, if I hit 10,000 followers, I would feel like this, or I would be making this amount, or my peers would then look at me and solidify that I'm actually doing this correctly.
Right.
And that shit doesn't happen.
It doesn't. And you know, the thing is for me, I'm not gonna lie, those goals that you hit, those, you know, you say you hit 10,000, 20, whatever it may be, when you hit those are such amazing feelings for a split second.
That's it.
And then they're gone.
Split second. And but
gone.
The thing is, you should still set those goals.
100%. The goal should be there, and you should be proud. You should feel accomplished and achieved, because that's what you work towards. And I am 1,000% on board. But then right when you hit it, it's gone.
It's gone. Where's the next one?
Next goal. What is it? Time to get to it. Like, let's go.
My 2020 goal was 25,000 followers, and I truly thought I would never hit it. I remember having that conversation with myself of, if you actually say this out loud to your team, you're gonna look stupid. And I mean my mod team, my team, you're gonna look stupid. And then they're also going to expect you to hit it. And what if you don't hit it and then you let them down?
And you look like a, yeah.
Right. Like I was so worried about it. And then I thought, but that's what a goal is supposed to be. Something that kind of scares you. Right. And you shout it from the rooftops and you get behind it. And I set out 25,000 and I'm close to 60.
Yeah, you're close to 60,000 right now. You're popping. Yeah, for your goal for 2020 was to get to 25. You're at
which scared the shit out of me.
60,000 in July. What are we talking about? You're popping. That's awesome.
And then the same feeling though was, oh fuck. Okay, now what do I do?
Next, showtime. And that's another thing too to point out is we've talked about it so much on this today. Is like, where you're like, do I tell the mod team, do I tell the people like these are my goals? This is what I want to happen. Do I want to tell them because in fear I sound stupid if I don't hit it? Do I sound like a douche being like, oh yeah, I'm going to hit this, whatever? But those people, again, truly want to see that for you too. And will back you 100% for it too. And that's, such a hard thing to get into your head. It's wild.
Oh, I'm so grateful. But it's something, and I've actually never said this out loud, so I'll say it to you.
Oh my God, breaking news right here. Breaking news right here on the Awkwardly Close podcast.
I feel like I've made it goal is when I can start supporting those that have supported me more than just throwing a host, more than just stopping by, but if something, say just random, I've thought of this plenty of times, my mod's like, God damn it, my fucking car broke, my alternator went out and it's going to be $500.
Yeah.
Ding, done.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that would be, I don't give a shit if I have 100,000 followers or 1 million followers, but to be able to support the community that supports you and cheer them on, that's when you've actually freaking are making, moves, I guess is what I would say.
1,000% could not be more on board with that. I saw, which I would love to do again, when that point comes, there's no question about it, that I'm going to do it and I'm going to blatantly steal it and talk about it right here, right now. Clean, on his mod's birthday, I saw where he tweeted on moderators' birthdays, all donations go to those mods, and that is fire. I like that. That is such a great. A great thing to do, and that's something that I want to implement one day soon too. Is I want to be able to give back. I mean. I guess it kind of sounds shitty. Give back in money what you've give back in time or whatever you need. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you need, I'll make it happen. You tell me, don't hesitate. Let's get it. What do you?
I've done these a couple of times. And I try to do like Christmas and stuff, and we're gonna do Christmas in July for the mods. But
yeah, tight.
Some of those shitheads have straight sent that back to me, and I've been like,
dude, okay, this is for you.
right. And because again, they're like, no, I'm just here to help. That's all they want to do. But I get it, because if I came to you, Dapper, and I said, Dapper, God damn it, I need help with this thing, you'd be like, hell yeah, Sigma.
Yeah.
I know that
I'll
you would
try my best. Yeah, whatever I can do.
You would genuinely want to actually help, and that's where the satisfaction comes in, is actually helping people.
Right.
So I get it, and the same thing for evasion is, those mods bust their damn ass. And when we got a sponsorship last season, I gave it back to the mods.
That's awesome.
Because that's where it belongs, is the people that are putting in the work. And I'm okay. I'm doing good because of all of this. Right. So now let me try to help.
Return the favor a little bit.
Yeah. Why not?
That's awesome. Well, listen, I want to kind of wrap it up here because, like I said, we only wanted to do an hour and some change. I just wanted to talk with you a little bit. It really does mean a lot to me that you have been on the podcast. By the way, I want to let you know you're the second female to ever be on this podcast.
Really?
The first one was 2 days ago, and I'm so excited. I want to branch out, and I want to talk with more females that are in this field of work and talk about their experiences coming up and where they've all led to right now. And truly, the stuff I've heard today from you is awesome. I really have enjoyed it. It really does mean a lot that you came on.
Thanks. I've had a kick-ass time with you.
Good. I'm glad. That's what I was hoping for. Remember before stream, I was like, hopefully this doesn't suck. Okay, Sigma.
Right.
But
right.
anyways, I truly do appreciate you. Where can the people who are watching and listening, where can we find you at?
So twitch.tv / Sigma. Sorry, I have a little bit of a lisp. Of course, I name myself Sigma too with it. Go figure. And then on Twitter, I'm Sigma_Inc.
Okay, perfect.
So yeah.
And I'm gonna leave links to all those, so be sure you guys check it out. Okay. Sigma, very excited. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. It does mean a lot, and we will talk very soon.
You're welcome.
All right.